Hi guys, welcome to the show. Today my guest is Lee Arnold III, who is an Army veteran, former educator and PMP certified MBA strategist, who co-founded Homebody Designed and has earned a reputation as the cat herder who brings order to complex cross-functional design projects. Thank you for joining, sir, and eager to learn about your story.
Thanks for having me.
Sure. Do you want to introduce yourself to give the listeners a chance to better understand what you do and what's your background?
Yeah, absolutely. My name is Lee Arnold. I'm currently serving as a project manager in the U.S. Department of Treasury, and I'm also co-founder of a interior design company, Homebody Design, with my partner. We're starting the process out. We just kind of kicked it off this year and building that out. As you mentioned, Danny, I'm an Army veteran. I'm also a former educator who's made the transition out of the classroom and into more strategic planning and operations based work. Got my PMP, I got a couple of master's degrees, but more importantly, I'm really focused on building cool things with great people and helping teams to find success.
How long have you served in the army?
Just under 5 years.
Mhm. Um, Curious to learn from your 5 years in the army. What are the top skills that you managed to translate into your work or projects, businesses that you're working on?
Uh, yeah, I think it's a mix. I'd say probably I'll call it top three. Communication, um, ownership, and resiliency. And I can go back through each one. Communication, just in general, knowing the audience, being able to communicate effectively, um, recognizing some of the challenges that are present for folks and people to call that out has been invaluable. Ownership, taking responsibility and accountability for what's going on, and then also being able to uh, take on new challenges and take lead on things that some people might not immediately go forward with or jump in to take on, and then just really kind of going from there. Um, I'm drawing a blank on what the third one was I said, but uh, I think all of these are valuable and helpful in being successful in what I do today and supporting teams moving forward.
Mm-hmm. Got it. And now you work with the government as a PMP project manager.
Hmm.
Could you explain what PMP means? Because I see this abbreviation everywhere, but I don't really understand fully what it is.
Yeah. PMI is the Project Management Institute, and the PMP is the Project Management Professional Certification. So, uh, anyone who is a PMP holder, uh, there's a couple ways to obtain it, but primarily it's either through combination of education or practical experience in the field of project management. And you can either, I think it's like 6 years or 7 years of experience, or you have to have a degree and 3 years of experience. That's rough numbers. Um, and then you take an exam after you do a 35-hour course. And basically, it's recognized as one of the most, uh, I'll say, prominent project management certifications that anyone can obtain. And it's recognized that you are skilled or highly skilled as a project manager in our field. Like I said, if you see anybody who's got a PMP certification, uh, they've been at this work for many, many years. They're well versed in project management practices and skill sets, both in traditional project management and in agile practices, and then being able to apply that in different environments.
Hmm. And once you have the certification, it's probably easier to get a job as a project manager, and probably also improves your salary, right?
I'd say yes to both. The first one, I'll give a caveat. Just like I've said to a lot of people about different certifications, the biggest thing is that the certifications are great to show that you understand the theory, and that you know the context and the, say rules that people uh, operate under. You still have to be able to demonstrate the skills and be able to speak to the work that we do as practitioners and be effective in it. And so um, it's a stepping stone. The PMP is definitely more of uh, a badge of honor that you've put in the work and the time, and uh, you still have to showcase that. To the second question, yeah, it definitely helps with increasing salary potential or finding roles. It's becoming more of a expectation with companies as opposed to an option that folks come in at senior levels or above with a PMP.
Hmm. So if you want to grow as a project manager, this is a must-have at some point of time to obtain it.
Yeah, I would say I don't know if I want to use the word must have. I think it's better to say that it is highly encouraged to get the certification as you're moving up through the call the ranks of project management and moving into a more senior role or even into leadership roles. The value in having the more concrete theory is really important, and it's helpful. And the question cuts back: is it possible to move into those same roles without it? I'd say yes. Is it easier when you have it? Yeah, I would say so.
Hmm. Yeah, thank you for clarifying that. And you also have your MBA.
Mhm.
Was it also a part of your professional development, or what's the story behind you obtaining the MBA?
Yeah. So I, you probably can see over what's my left shoulder. I've got two of my degrees posted there. I actually have two masters. So I have a master's of public administration and a master's of business administration. I got the first, which was my MPA, because I was teaching, and I originally had the idea of moving into administrative roles. And then, the other option after the line was like, if I decide to not really pursue this, I still want to finish my MPA. So I actually completed the degree about a year or so ago. I made the choice that I really wanted to be more business focused and have a better understanding of some of the challenges and skill sets that were necessary in moving into like C-suite or supportive roles like VP level. And I knew that there was a lack of knowledge from an accounting perspective and finance and things like that. And so I wanted to close that gap. And I decided MBA was probably the best route to get the practical knowledge and let that be a springboard to get into more of the hands-on application. And so I did the program. It took me about a year and some change, and just finished up last summer.
Congrats on that.
Thank you.
You know, there are a few opinions around MBA, how, how much it is about um, just having it in your on your LinkedIn versus having a practical knowledge from that, or maybe sometimes it's even more about networking and connecting with relevant people through the MBA program. Where do you see the biggest value of MBA is?
I'm going to answer a question you didn't ask. It's really the comparison of why should someone get or not get their MBA. And the answer to that would be you should get the MBA if it makes sense for your goals and aspirations. And at the end of the day, my goal is to make it into a chief of staff role. And a lot of times, the folks that I've met that are chiefs of staff, many of them in the private sector have come from consulting or having worked in operations in different organizations at different levels. And some of them have finance backgrounds, things like that. And that was, a gap that I wanted to close. And I was impatient. I didn't want to wait to go work in those roles. I wanted to get it, in the shortest path possible. So it made sense for me there. For someone who's already had that practical knowledge and that hands-on in in any number of roles, it may not make as much sense because you may not need the textbook education because you've already gotten it because you've started your own business or you've moved up to help others build out their companies. Yeah, I think start there. For me, the value is the knowledge and being able to do things that I didn't feel confident or knowledgeable about. And now that I have that information, it's bolstered my experience and my skill set, and I feel more comfortable speaking to business language and some of the challenges that leaders face at higher levels. And then, of course, we could talk about the numbers. MBA graduates typically have higher salaries as a result afterwards. And again, every part of that is it's a calculation. Like do the thing that makes the most sense for you. Don't do it just because everybody else says you get an MBA. Get an MBA because it has a value to you, even if it's just I just want it. You may not even plan on using it, but having it makes you feel better about your growth. Great, that's valuable to you. Then do it. Uh, Hopefully that answers the question.
Yeah, yeah, no, it does, and in a very good way. Even though you said that you're gonna answer a question that I didn't ask, I think it's a pretty good answer. Thank you for sharing this perspective as a person who actually got an MBA. Tell me a little bit more about your chief of staff goal that you mentioned.
Yeah, probably about 3 years ago, I started thinking about what I'm passionate about and what I'm really wanting to accomplish. Everybody says when they grow up, um, and, and I was thinking, all right, well, what do I want to do? What's valuable to me? What's cool? Um, what leans into my strengths and the things that I've been building over time. And I originally thought I wanted to be a chief operating officer um, until I met my mentor, and we talked about it. He's a former CEO and CFO, and in working through our conversations, really over the course of like the first 6 months of that mentorship program that I was in with him, I realized I don't want to be a COO because I feel like CEOs get locked in more to just operations. I like having my hands in a bunch of different pots and being able to support folks in sales and supporting our marketing team and supporting engineering and operations and being able to ask questions and sit at the table with a broad array of different leaders and individuals in different teams. And I get to do some of that in project management. And I wanted to be able to kind of take that a step further. And so in doing my research and kind of figuring out, came to the conclusion that the chief of staff role really is the better fit for what I want to achieve. And I kind of locked in on that goal, and I've been working on that ever since. So, um, you know, getting the education, making sure that I'm asking good questions with my mentor, uh, trying to be a good mentor to others who are in project management or thinking about taking on operational roles, uh, jumping in on projects and supporting leaders where they need it. So I've been doing that at a bunch of different roles that I've had over the years and trying to be consistent and continuously building. And I'm, I felt more comfortable recently with starting that process of, of either transitioning or applying or making that move and, you know, seeing where it takes me. I think it'd be an exciting opportunity, and I'm looking forward to taking the journey. And uh, if I don't land in a chief of staff right away, that's okay. Uh, where I'm at or wherever I land on the way towards it, and there's skills that I've learned and opportunity to build, eventually getting there. But that's my goal. I will hit uh, my chief of staff dream, if you will.
Hmm. Yeah, and I like how you're pretty open about your goal. You put this on your LinkedIn, saying that you're aspiring chief of staff. I think this helps in some way subconsciously motivate yourself even further, because I like to do the same, and I found it to be working for me. Maybe not for all the people, but if it works for you, that's great. You mentioned that thanks to your one of your mentors, you figured out that your original goal of becoming a COO wasn't necessarily what you would enjoy the most. So, on this note, I imagine some listeners think, um, well, there's probably a lot of value in having mentors, but how do I find them? How did you find your mentor, and how should aspiring entrepreneurs or people who build their careers look for mentors?
I was very fortunate. One of my one of my friends through one of the organizations that I went through, he reached out. He's a veteran also, and he said, "Hey, are you familiar with this program called ACP?" And I was like, "No, never heard of it." And it's an organization that supports veterans and connects them with individuals who are either in the field that they're interested in or serve in the role that they are trying to obtain. It was great. I reached out and I told him at the time I was thinking about becoming a COO, and that was kind of my goal. And they said, well, we might have a hard time finding somebody, but we'll try and find a mentor for you. And they were able to find someone, probably within a couple of weeks. Uh, and he's been amazing. We've actually had an ongoing mentorship relationship for probably 2.5 years at this point. Um, he still supports me to this day. So I think that worked for me. So one, finding resources that are available, doing a little bit of research is an option. Um, there's the cold DM route where you could find somebody who's on LinkedIn and you see their background and their story, and you think, oh wow, I'd really love to learn from them, and you could just simply send a message to them on LinkedIn and say, hey, yeah, I really appreciate um, your story, and I see a lot of my own experiences and what you've accomplished or things that I want to do. Do you have the time to connect? And then you try to build a mentorship through that. Alumni networks for folks who've been through college. If you've gone through a trade school or something like that, see if they have a program that fits. And then uh, I think another probably um, more unique alternative is uh, go to meetups in your local area for interest groups. Um, you know, there are tech meetups, there are business meetups. You probably insert the industry, and there's probably a meetup for that group, and start networking with individuals there, and find someone that uh, you you connect with, and you know, build that relationship, and then say, I'm looking for a mentor. Would you be open to mentoring me? And I think something that people need to keep in mind is mentorship should not be transactional. It's not, give me something and then move on. It's a relationship. You're building a connection with another person uh, that's primarily focused on either business or developing skills or what have you. And the relationship should be bi-directional. You should get something from your mentor, and you should provide something to your mentor. And uh, it could be something small. I've you know talked about places to go eat. My mentor has kids that have been traveling in and out of the state of Texas, or any places that I've been to. Anytime it comes up in conversation, I'll throw out recommendations like, "Oh, hey, try out this," or check out this place." We'll talk books that we've read through, and kind of have that back and forth, and make the time valuable for them as well as for yourself. I try to give as much as I get from my mentorship relationship, and then pay it forward as my next bit of advice. I've mentored others. I still love to mentor today. I do it as much as I can, and as often as people have come to me and said, "Hey, I'm looking for a mentor," and I'll try to make sure I'm the right fit. If I'm not, I'll point them to somebody that is, and that's another option. So there's so many different paths. You just have to find one that makes sense and works for you.
Hmm. Yeah, appreciate your perspective on how to find and how to maintain the relationship with a mentor, because I can talk a little bit about my story. Thanks to the podcast, actually, some of the amazing guests have become my mentors as well. And the way I found them was, as you said, it was LinkedIn. I didn't know them before. I reached out, but I saw their profiles. They seemed to be interesting people. Invited them to the podcast just like I invited you. Then the relationship uh, was built initially, and then I asked, "Would you be open to becoming my mentor?" And honestly, all of the people that I asked to become my mentors, it's just a few people, but still, they all agreed, and I've been blessed to be, mentored by some of the amazing people. And personally, it's very helpful what you said about giving back, because sometimes I also forget about it, that I still want to provide some value back in the ways I can. So it's very valuable. We have about 6 minutes left for the show. Before we end, I want to briefly talk about your business or your project that you're working on, because you're clearly very focused on your career and becoming the chief of staff, and progressing in that area, but also you seem to be passionate about your own projects, one of which is called Homebody Designed. Could you tell a little bit more about that
Yeah,
project?
absolutely. Absolutely. As mentioned, my partner and I, we actually started a interior design business. Um, we are located here in Dallas, Texas, and we're just really getting it started. But the focus for us is on providing great service at a great price, and helping people to plan out their living space. The company is called Homebody Designed, And the premise or idea behind it is that you should come home to a place that feels comfortable and cozy, that's engaging and is warm and feels like you. And your home should be where you feel the most comfortable. And so we're starting off with e-design for the business. And to find us, it's Homebody Designed with a D, .com. And we are happy to service and help folks as they plan out the design of their of a room, your home, uh, or just planning out furniture. We also provide a discount for veterans, and I always tell people that part of the design plans for us, they get to see it every time that I'm on a video call. Uh, we planned out the colors, and I thought I would be doing something that was crazy by going with a really dark room, and I absolutely love it. Everybody comments on how cool the color it is, and it's just a really sharp look, and it's so engaging. But when I walk into my office, it feels warm and it's relaxing. Got plants here and we have good furniture, and I feel at ease when I'm working from this space. So I lean into that, and that's what we're trying to embody and create for our future clients is a room or space or even a home that feels like it's them, that they're connected and they can be comfortable and relax. And for those folks who work in office and come home at the end of the day, we've all been there. We get home, we walk in the door, and we're like, I don't want to do anything. Leave me alone. I'm tired. Dealt with traffic, and we want you to walk in and immediately be able to relax because this is your space to exist, to enjoy, and and just be at peace. And so that's what we're trying to accomplish. And happy to connect with anybody. And veterans, we provide a discount. We are happily a veteran-owned business, and definitely like talking about that because it's enjoyable. It's a lot of fun building this with someone who's important to me. So having a blast.
Mhm. And do you service uh, locally or is it nationwide?
For our e-design business, we are really anywhere that people need support and assistance. We're happy to help out. Um, if anyone goes to the website, they'll see the different options that we have available from as quick as just a 15-minute call to kind of let you talk through some of your ideas to a couple of hours of support with helping find products that you need or furniture that you're looking for or designing a layout, picking colors, all those kinds of things. For uh, future planning, we'll have in-person services here in the Texas area, specifically Dallas, Houston, Austin. We're going to try and stick mostly to Dallas, but for some clients, we're willing to make a little bit of a drive to support them.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll leave the link to Homebody Designed with a D.com on the in the description. So if you're listening to the podcast, watching on YouTube, you can check it out and definitely take a look, especially if you wanna um make sure you come home from work and feel better than what we described a little bit earlier. But yeah, well, that sounds great. Good luck with that, and hopefully this business will grow and you'll be able to serve as many people as possible. Well, on this note, we're running out of time, but it was great to talk to you, sir, today. Great conversation, great insights, especially on some of the project management stuff as well as mentorship. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely.